Hey everyone, I'm Jerry James Stone, but you already know that. And I'm super excited because in today's video, I'm gonna show you how to make something that I absolutely love. Cheese. Cheese. Homemade cheese. But I'm gonna do it showing you one of my favorite recipe developers, cookbook author, TV show host, amazing woman ever, Sara Moulton. I sat down with her. Here's her amazing cookbook. We were actually judging food in New York. But let's get to that video. Let's see the interview. You wanna see Sara, you don't wanna see me. So let's get to that. Hi, I'm Jerry James Stone, and I'm here with the amazing, talented Sara Moulton. Thank you for joining me today.
I'm so pleased to be here.
We're actually here, we're in the Specialty Food Association offices because this week we are given the pleasure and somewhat discomfort.
Right. We've been eating ourselves silly, frankly.
Yes.
Endlessly.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're judging the Sofi Awards, which if you've been to the fancy food show that's either in San Francisco in the wintertime or here in the summer in New York, is so much food, an overwhelming amount of food, but the best of the best makes it here where we get to judge, pick them apart, and today we tasted olive oils and gluten-free products, but we're really here to talk to Sara about her book. We have Home Cooking 101.
Yes, there we go. Here it is.
Yes, beautiful book, beautiful book.
Yes.
Lots of great photos. So the one I want to jump into first is the homemade paneer. I think that like homemade cheeses, especially ones like ricotta and stuff like that, are great because they just add a freshness that you don't get from the store-bought product.
It's such a different ball game.
Yeah.
So the ricotta in here, there's two different versions. One, you use lemon juice, which gives it a sort of faint lemony taste, which is nice, and the other one is buttermilk.
Right.
You don't need any special thing to make it curdle. It's the acid added to the dairy product that makes the dairy product curdle, which is what you have to do with cheese. And then you take that fresh ricotta and you wrap it in cheesecloth and you press it to make a semi-soft cheese called paneer. And you probably had it in Indian restaurants.
Yes.
And it's wonderful because it's dense and chewy and absorbs sauce. And I'm not a vegetarian, but I love sauce with meat too. And that's why I like pasta, because it's just a vehicle for sauce.
It is.
Although Italians would kill me when I say, because they're like, no, it's about the pasta. I'm like, no, it's about the sauce.
It's about the sauce. It's about the sauce.
So that's why I love paneer, because it absorbs it. So.
And I don't think I've had like really fresh paneer before. I mean, like.
What a difference it makes.
Yeah.
It's so yummy. It's just like if you've ever made fresh ricotta, and I'm sure you have.
I have made fresh ricotta.
Yeah. And do you use lemon juice?
I use lemon juice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Try the buttermilk. It's really good too.
Okay.
Just different, slightly different, but it's so fresh and so wonderful. It's just, you can't believe it.
And when you're making fresh paneer, is there any sort of tips and tricks? Now I'm gonna go through your recipe and show them how to do that next. But if you're kind of jumping into this for the first time, what are some of the gotchas of like making fresh cheese, or are there any at all?
Well, no, the hardest part, see, here's the trouble, is sometimes lemons are more or less acidic. So you add the lemon juice to the milk and I add some cream, and sometimes it doesn't curdle fast enough or the way you want it to. Right. I don't really like the teeny weeny little curds. I like slightly bigger.
Okay.
So then you have to add more. So you just have to, and I cover that. I talk about that in the intro.
Awesome.
But just knowing buttermilk is more dependable.
Okay.
Because it's actually these days it's a manufactured product. They take the low-fat milk or 1% milk and add a culture to it to make buttermilk. The original buttermilk was what was left over after you made butter, and it was not thick like that.
Okay.
So buttermilk is pretty consistent. So maybe if you're going to do it for the first time, you might want to use the buttermilk because you might have more luck. Without having to add any extra.
Right.
Like for lemon juice, sometimes I end up having to add more.
So if you're going to make paneer or ricotta, get Sara's book, Home Cooking 101, and make the buttermilk version. And if you want to learn how to make the lemon version, I'm going to show them how to make that one next.
Sure, because that's what you do comfortably.
Awesome.
Yeah. And then all you do is you take the ricotta and you just weigh it down on a plate. You like shape it, you hang it, and then you shape it and put a plate on top of it. Okay, so when I say you hang it, what you do is you line a strainer with the cheesecloth and drain the cheese so it gets more and more and more dense. And then you wrap it up and put a weight on it, like a plate and, a can of tomatoes, and just let it sit, and all the extra water comes out so it gets thicker and, denser and denser and denser.
And about how long does it take from like start to finish to make fresh paneer?
That's a really good question. Let me look at my recipe.
She has a book for this. I swear, check it out. Like, there's a lot of great recipes in there.
It's been a little while since I made it, so let me just take a look.
We're diving into the archives here.
We are. Now I'm on, this first chapter has all this stuff that you can you know, make, and including, you know, butter and
yeah, there was lots of great things in there.
And flavored butter.
So many wonderful recipes.
Oh, my favorite new way to hard-boiled eggs, which is to steam them.
I've never done that.
Oh my god. Okay, so here's the paneer. Let me see.
We're getting all the details.
Yeah. No, this is interesting. Okay. This is interesting, says she. Whose recipe? Whose recipe is this anyway? It only takes 1 hour and 55 minutes.
That's not bad.
And it's only 10 minutes hands-on time.
And fresh cheese, really. I mean, if you've ever had fresh ricotta, like it really does. It really makes a difference.
Yeah.
You know, depending on what you're using it. If you're maybe just baking it into lasagna, like maybe not a big deal. But if you're using it in something where you're like gonna maybe put on top of a pizza where it's not getting overly baked and cooked, like it's.
You know what is delicious on? If you make a really nice garlicky marinara sauce and toss it with penne, and you know, just toss that together, put some fresh basil on, and then plop on your fresh ricotta.
Yum.
Oh, it's so good.
Yum. Okay, so I'm gonna show you guys how to make that next, and check out Sarah's book, Home Cooking 101. See you guys later. So that's Sara. Isn't she just adorable? She's so tiny. I just want to put her in my pocket and take her home with me. She probably would fit. She's this tiny little girl, but she's so amazing. One badass chef. If you don't know this, she was like the first person to have a show on the Food Network. Maybe not the first, but she had a really long run on the Food Network. One of the original first Food Network stars. Super amazing. Friends with Julia Child. Super awesome. Here's her book. I'm going to show you how to make the homemade paneer from her book. So let's get to it, okay? Okay, so the first thing we need to do here is combine our milk and our salt. And we're going to warm this mixture up to about 190 degrees. Okay, so now we're going to add in our vinegar. Add that in, mix it in, and let it sit for 15 minutes. Okay, so that sat around for 15 minutes, and now we're gonna go ahead and strain out the curds from the whey. Miss Muffet would be proud. So just go ahead and transfer the curds using, I'm using a slotted spoon, to a colander that's double lined with cheesecloth. Now you don't actually have to throw away the whey part of this. You can actually use it, so just to not waste food. You can use it to soak grains, you can use it as a soup base, you can use it in many, many different things. So the whey is not, though you're removing all of the milk fat with the curds, the whey still is usable. So we're gonna go ahead and strain this out and then let that sit for about 20 minutes, getting all of the whey that we can possibly get out of the curds because we want a nice firm cheese. Okay, so we strained out our cheese and we're going to take our cheesecloth, wrap it around, and put it in a bowl here. Now, paneer is not that much different than, say, ricotta cheese, but the difference is that ricotta is a nice soft cheese and paneer is a nice firm cheese. So I'm just putting another bowl on top here, and I'm gonna just weight it down with flour, and we're gonna do this to press out all remaining liquid. Okay, our cheese should be firm now. Just go ahead and unwrap it here. Okay, it's looking pretty good. Looks pretty firm there. So as you can see, here's our homemade paneer, which you can just now start cutting into. Yum. So that's all there is. That's all it takes to make delicious homemade paneer. And the thing that's really cool about it is if you've ever had fresh homemade cheese, like it's just so fresh and delicious and it's really great. And paneer is one of those cheeses that really showcases, just like fresh ricotta, it really showcases when it's just freshly made. So check out this recipe. Do me a favor, check out Sara's book. Hit her up on Twitter. She's at Sara Moulton. Tell her I said hey, tell her her book is awesome. And I'll see you guys next time, okay? See you later. Oh, there's cheese. I'm gonna go eat the cheese. Got myself some cheese. Okay, see you later.